In this video, you'll witness the unforgettable story of a young girl and former President Donald Trump. Subscribe to the channel to discover how one voice shook the nation. The grand military appreciation ceremony held at Arlington National Cemetery was more than a gathering, it was a living memorial. Surrounded by military leaders, dignitaries, and Gold Star families, the atmosphere was heavy with emotion. American flags waved gently under the spring sky, while a Marine band played patriotic tunes. Rows of veterans, some in full uniform, sat beside civilians holding back tears. At the center stood a young woman in pristine Air Force blues. Her stance was perfect, but her eyes gave away the emotion she fought to suppress. Her name tag read McConnell, while others wore expressions of pride. Her eyes glistened with tears she refused to shed. In one gloved hand, she clutched a worn, folded photograph. It was clear she carried more than military tradition. She bore grief, memory, and determination. President Donald Trump entered with his familiar presence, greeting guests, nodding solemnly, and listening intently to stories of valor. But his attention froze when he noticed Ariana. Unlike the others, she wasn't smiling or clapping. She stood rooted in place, guarding something sacred. As the announcer called out names and applause followed, there came a pause. Cadet Ariana McConnell, the voice said. She stepped forward, and the sound of her boots on the platform rang louder than any cheer. Something unexpected was about to unfold. Approaching the stage, Ariana inhaled shakily. Her posture was trained, her salute flawless, but inside, her heart pounded with the rhythm of unspoken sorrow. Standing before the president, she felt the weight of countless eyes upon her. But all she focused on was the photo in her hand. Trump noticed something was wrong. Most cadets smiled during these moments, but Ariana looked on the verge of breaking. "You okay, cadet?" he asked softly. Her lips parted, but no sound came. She tried to speak, but emotion blocked her voice. For a moment, it seemed like she might faint. She whispered, "I need to show you something, sir." Her voice barely audible. Trump nodded, watching her carefully. Her hand shook as she passed him the folded photograph. The mood shifted instantly. The crowd leaned forward. Cameras focused. The atmosphere thickened. Trump unfolded the picture. It revealed a man in military fatigues with a young girl on his shoulders. "That's my father," Ariana whispered. "He never got to stand here." The president studied the old photo, its edges frayed, its colors faded. A younger Ariana beamed from atop her father's shoulders, a frozen moment of joy. "This is him?" he asked. She nodded. "Master Sergeant Jack McConnell. Served 19 years. 3 tours. A Purple Heart recipient. But no ceremony. No farewell." Trump's expression changed. "What happened?" Ariana gathered herself. "He saved 12 soldiers in an ambush in Afghanistan in 2011, but the paperwork disappeared. He passed 3 years ague-lung disease from service-related exposure." She lifted a weathered envelope. "He wrote a letter to the president before he died. Never sent it. Said, they've got more important things to do. But I brought it today." Silence fell. The band stopped. Even the press lowered their cameras. Trump accepted the envelope with care. He hadn't opened it yet, but the gravity of the moment was written on his face. Ariana, now unable to hold back tears, watched as the president slowly began to read. "Let's hear what your father had to say." The letter was old, ink fading, but its words were powerful. "Dear Mr. President," Trump read aloud, "if you're reading this, it means I couldn't say it in person. I don't ask for medals. I ask for recognition for widows, for orphans, for the names that history overlooks." Gasps moved through the crowd. Ariana covered her mouth. "I watched good men die without thanks. I held their hands. They never got letters from home. I ask only that we say their names, that we remember them." Trump folded the letter, eyes moist. "He didn't want fame," he said. "He wanted dignity for the forgotten." Ariana nodded. Her father's voice had finally been heard where he never had the chance to speak. Turning to his staff, Trump said, "Find out why this soldier isn't in our records. Reopen his file. Get the Pentagon involved." The crowd burst into applause. But Ariana wasn't done. After his funeral, she began. "I found the letter inside a wooden box beneath his bed, along with mission logs, journals, and a list." "What kind of list?" Trump asked. She pulled another document from her jacket, laminated, preserved. 5 names. Soldiers, he said, were forgotten. He kept their memory alive when no one else did. Trump read them aloud. "Private First Class Jerome Bell, Sergeant Luis Navarro, Corporal Evan Brooks. Why aren't they listed?" he asked. "They died during classified missions," Ariana explained. "Never acknowledged. My father believed the truth should outlive secrecy." He turned to his military aide. "Confirm these names. Find surviving family. If they're here, honor them." Trump looked back at her. He didn't mail the letter, but today, it speaks louder than any speech. She nodded, tears flowing. He didn't want medals, just their names on a wall, just closure. Trump gently touched her shoulder. "He'll have that. So will they." Backstage, Trump reread the letter twice. Then again, "He wrote this thinking no one would ever read it," he said. "That breaks something in me." Ariana sat beside him in silence, watching a man once doubted now visibly changed. "We host parades, ceremonies," Trump said, "but this letter, it changes things." He was afraid, she whispered. Afraid what he gave would be forgotten in some drawer. "Not anymore," Trump said. "This goes to the Joint Chiefs. We won't bury it, we'll build from it." Outside, the official ceremony had paused, but the real one was happening in that quiet corner between a cadet, a letter, and a president finally listening. "I promise," Trump said, placing the letter in a protective sleeve, "your father's words will live longer than both of us." Ariana smiled through tears. When Trump returned to the podium, the crowd waited silent, curious. Holding the photo in one hand and the letter in the other, Trump spoke. "I've met many heroes," he began, "but today, I heard the voice of one who never got to speak, a voice demanding justice." He held up Ariana's list. "These 5 names have never been spoken from this stage. That ends now. Read each one solemnly." Ariana stood beside him, her father's photo pressed to her chest. The applause was overwhelming, real raw. Because truth, when finally spoken, doesn't echo, it roars. 3 years earlier, Ariana had sat beside her father in a VA hospital. His breath was shallow, his eyes full of love. "You'll wear that uniform better than I ever did," he whispered, reaching for her hand. "I'm scared," she admitted. "You've already got my strength," he said, "and your mother's heart. Promise me one thing," he added. "Anything. Promise me people will remember." He gave her an envelope. "Never mailed it. Too proud. Maybe one day you'll know what to do with it." She left to grab coffee. When she returned, he was gone. She hadn't opened the letter until today. Now, it had reached the highest desk in the land. Trump, stepping down from the podium, walked to her. "I've read many letters," he said, "but none like your father's." She nodded. He said, "America remembers the loud, not the loyal." "That changes now," Trump said. "Well, remember both." He invited her to walk with him down the rows of flags, away from cameras. He left names, Trump said. "Do you know their stories?" "Yes, sir," she replied. "All of them. Tell me everything." As they walked past white tombstones, Ariana shared the stories. How Private Bell shielded children under fire. How Corporal Brooks volunteered for a suicide mission. Trump turned to his team. "Find out why these names aren't etched in stone. When we do, we fix it." The ceremony had concluded, but Ariana had just sparked a movement. Later that evening, in the West Wing, Trump met with military officials, holding Ariana's list as if it were sacred text. He read each name aloud, ordered full investigations. Ariana joined via video call. "These weren't just names," she said. "My father remembered who they saved, how they died, what they said in their final moments." A stunned silence filled the room. Some saved children. Some dragged others to safety, knowing they wouldn't survive. These missions were buried, she added, classified, forgotten. Trump placed a firm hand on the table. "Then let's unbury them." He signed an executive order, a task force to identify and honor forgotten valor. 5 names became a mission. The Pentagon called it the McConnell Initiative. A week later, Trump returned to Arlington, this time with Ariana beside him, in full uniform, holding her father's photo. "This cadet changed how I see service," he said, "not just the decorated, but the dismissed." He held the list. "These names will now be honored publicly, permanently, federally." Ariana almost collapsed. "You didn't just carry your father's story," he told her. "You carried 5 others, heroes." He handed her a presidential coin. "This is just the beginning." A new law was proposed allowing classified missions to be reviewed for posthumous awards. The movement had begun, and Ariana stood taller than ever. Her father was right. Service never dies in silence.